Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors' biggest concern isn't Stephen Curry's fault. The Golden State Warriors are off to a best-in-the-West start to the season and are expected to remain one of the best teams in the NBA all season long. Guard DeAnthony Melton was recently ruled out for the season, but the Warriors have plenty of depth behind him, evidenced by Steve Kerr's 12-man rotation, which is a rarity in the NBA. The Dubs have been linked to their fair share of trade targets, which makes sense, given that they are yet to have anyone taller than 6'9" suit up. Their lack of size is concerning, but one area in particular stands out as their biggest issue. Despite being the best team in the Western Conference, the Warriors rank dead last in the NBA in free throw percentage, with a make rate of just 70%. The last time an NBA team shot below 70% from the line for a season was 5 seasons ago when the Knicks did it. The last time a team with a winning record did it was 9 seasons ago when the Pistons did it, highlighted The Athletic's Anthony Slater. In a conference where the standings margins are expected to be slim, a few free throw-related losses in the middle months could be the difference between several seeding slots. Stephen Curry's 91% mark from the charity stripe is the best of all time. This season, he has made 95.3% of his free throws, which is the best of his career, excluding his 5-game campaign in 2019-20. Curry's mark this season rivals Jose Calderon's all-time record of 98% in the 2008-2009 campaign, but the rest of his team needs to get it together and make the easiest shot in the sport. Warriors add major defensive boost in proposed trade scenario with Grizzlies. The Golden State Warriors have had an electric start to the season, sitting atop the Western Conference with a 12-4 record. Despite losing Klay Thompson in the summer, the Warriors made smart free agent moves to add multiple players as replacements to play one of the deepest rotations in the NBA with 12 players. Those plans were hurt after summer addition DeAnthony Melton was ruled out for the season with an ACL injury. The Warriors have been openly searching the trade market for additions to their roster, passing up trades for Paul George and Lauri Markkanen in the summer. The franchise is considered one of the most likely to make a move this season, and they could kickstart that by making a smart deal to address Melton's absence instead of forcing a move for a superstar-level player. Trade details Golden State Warriors receive. Marcus Smart. This deal would see the Warriors send out a lot of premium second-round draft compensation along with multi-positional 3 and D threat Gary Payton II. Melton would essentially see the season out with injury on the Grizzlies before re-entering free agency next year after joining the Warriors on a 1-year contract this summer. This trade can't be executed before December 15th. The Golden State Warriors don't have an immediate need to make any trade given the high level the roster has been playing at. But their rotational production isn't consistent, as individual players can go through major swings, such as Buddy Hield. He started the season with 7 20-point outings in his first 8 appearances, but hasn't scored more than 18 points in his 9 appearances since. Marcus Smart won't provide a high offensive baseline, but he'll guarantee excellent defensive output for however many minutes he spends on the court. He's averaging 7.4 points, 2.6 rebounds, and 3.7 assists this season, but Smart's value can never be captured in the box score. He'd be the Warriors' most reliable POA guard defender, allowing Draymond Green to be a free-roam help defender instead of taking on the number 1 perimeter option every offensive possession. The Warriors' offense bakes in great shots for Smart, who won't always make them consistently but enjoy good shot quality. Alternating him with Buddy Hield gives Steve Kerr the option to pick a defense-oriented lineup with Smart or an offense-oriented one with Hield. This would also begin streamlining the Warriors' rotation, with the team still unclear on who the team's full-time 2 guard will be after Melton's injury. The Memphis Grizzlies are trying to stay competitive in the West despite franchise-wide injury issues for the last 18 months. They're 10-7 this season, despite Ja Morant suffering a shoulder injury which has kept him out over their last 8 games. The team has a solid cast of rotational players at their disposal with a healthy Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr., but the team still looks average on the court. Dealing Smart for multiple valuable second-round picks and a player like Gary Payton too could be impactful for the Grizzlies. Payton is averaging 4.5 points, 1.8 rebounds, and 1.1 assists and has proven to be a more consistent shooter than Smart. He's received limited minutes this season but is a very active perimeter defender with the ability to guard three positions. Instead of the Grizzlies carrying Smart's $20.6 million into next season, they can open up room for changes this summer by acquiring expiring contracts such as Payton and Melton, meaning over $22 million will come off the books for the franchise this season. In what's looking to be another tough season, the Grizzlies are better off accepting the financial flexibility and draft assets instead of relying on Smart's production to be the difference between a number 7 or number 9 seed. Warriors floated as potential fascinating trade spot for former lottery pick. DeAnthony Melton's expiring $12.8 million salary makes him a trade chip for the Golden State Warriors following his season-ending left ACL injury, Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher reported on November 22. Warriors coach Steve Kerr was frustrated they lost Melton just as when he was starting to gel well with their franchise star Stephen Curry in their backcourt. With this in mind, Fisher floated Chicago Bulls former lottery pick Patrick Williams as one name that will be fascinating that his team is more willing than ever to discuss in a trade. Williams, the number 4 pick in 2020, will have his trade restriction lifted on December 15, like Melton. If you're looking at names that would potentially be someone who you could grow and develop a little bit, especially if you have any thought or fear of Jonathan Kuminga not being a part of this build moving forward after whatever truly did happen at his camp, Jonathan's representation, and Golden State couldn't close that gap in the extension talks, is there an opportunity for you to potentially look at someone like Patrick Williams in Chicago? Fisher wondered. Fisher was quick to note that he hadn't heard anything about the Warriors' interest in Williams. I'm not saying if I was in Golden State's front office, would I be banging my hand on the table to go get that guy? But Williams is someone who has lottery pick upside, was the number 4 pick in the draft, who has never truly tapped that potential. He's someone just an outside-of-the-box name that I'm putting out here because you asked, Fisher told his viewers. The 23-year-old Williams signed a team-friendly 5-year, $90 million extension this past offseason. Kuminga wanted double that in the failed extension talks with the Warriors. Anthony Slater of The Athletic reported Kuminga was aiming for an average annual salary of $35 million on a lucrative multi-year extension. The Warriors, however, weren't willing to go above around $30 million. Williams has the better touch from the outside, shooting 39.4% from the three-point line this season. On the other hand, Kuminga, despite expressing his confidence entering the season that he'll shoot better than his 32.1% clip last season, is shooting worse at 30.6%. Williams is also the more versatile defensive player. He can defend the perimeter and provide rim protection if necessary. He could be the perfect understudy for Draymond Green as Williams has gradually improved as a passer, averaging 2.3 assists this season from 1.4 during his rookie year. In the aftermath of Melton's season-ending injury, Kerr said he's looking at Lindy Waters III and Brandon Podziemski to replace the injured guard. But neither Waters nor Podziemski, who continued his shooting struggles with a scoreless performance in the Warriors' 104-94 loss to San Antonio Spurs on November 23, is a proven player in the postseason. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.